These are the boots that I've been wearing for the last year. I wore them all through last winter, all the way up to now, hiking, backpacking, up mountains, in bog, in forest, you name it. They were given to me by Lowa, but I wanted to bring them through their paces for the last year, just to see if they're up to the challenge of the harsh environments that we have in this country, and they did not disappoint. So let's go through some of the features. This is 2.2mm suede leather. They have, when you buy them, they're a very nice, I suppose, suede feel to them, but I always ruin them by putting wax, beeswax or whatever suede conditioner on it. It kind of dulls the look of them. They're not as pretty, but they'll do the job and keep the water out. So it's combined with fabric. There's fabric here, fabric on the tongue. You'll see some other boots that have very light leather on the tongue, but this stays with fabric. As you can see in here, this is the Gore-Tex membrane, and there's nothing getting through that. But you just have to remember, you're not really relying on the material on the outside of the boot to keep you waterproof. It's always the membrane on the inside. But the only reason why you actually put conditioner and wax these up or put water repellent on them is so that the boot doesn't hold water and get heavier. So, and it does protect it from water getting through, but the main thing is the Gore-Tex on the inside is going to protect from any water getting into you. But I'd always recommend waterproofing your boots before every hike. Okay, so down here is the midsole. Lowa uses a PU SPS cushioning in here. This really helps with reducing fatigue on the trail for long hikes or backpacking. It's an excellent shock absorber. I don't feel any stones or anything while walking on them, and if you walk on the edge of a stone, it offers brilliant stability when you're on them. Very, very good midsole. I should also mention, for the insole, there's an integrated nylon shaft that's added for support in the middle, so it stops any movement. So I don't buy any boots without them being Vibram. And these are the App Trail Vibram soles. So first impressions of these, look here, there isn't a lot of grip up front, but they say they use the sharp bit of this for holding onto rocks as you're going up them. And it's the same with the back. I want to come back to these soles because I wasn't convinced, because I use the HANWAG soles all the time, which I really love. So for now, they're the Vibram soles. I'm going to come back to this point in a minute and I'll tell you why. Okay, so let's talk about the lacing system. This is called the C4 Tongue X lacing system. When you're actually lacing up the boot, this section crisscross around this C4 clasp and it holds it in place. Also, these are brilliant for when you're tightening up the boot. It really holds your foot in place and stops them moving forward and back. So looking at the lower part of the lacing, I love the ball bearings that are on all of the mountaineering bigger boots. They're in HANWAG, they're in a few others, but they really help when you're tightening the laces up, that it pulls everything in together. Down here, the smaller lacing system, I'll be honest, I don't like the look of them. For pure aesthetics, some people like them, some people don't. I prefer the wide, I suppose, buckles all the way down here. It's just the look I like, but these are absolutely fine. They do the job and they hold everything in around the actual toe. So yeah, very, very good lacing system. No complaints. So let's look at the upper part of the boot. It's a really high cuff, which I really like. It offers very, very good stability and support around the ankle. I like the fact that the actual boot just goes straight down and there isn't a big cushioning in the inside here. That's one massive problem that I had with my Scarpas before, where the back cushioning on the inside dug into my Achilles, which actually gave me bruised and tendinitis in both Achilles. So always try on boots, especially for that kind of injury that could occur if they're not properly fitted. So they're a high cuff, they provide excellent ankle support, but the one thing I do like is here and here. It's a thing called the Flex Fit Synchro system, which allows for natural movement of your foot and ankle on uneven terrain. I really, really like that system, and it's super, super comfortable. If you know me on this channel, I always say it. I will never buy boots without rubber scuff. I wish though that the rubber scuff came and matched up here, because look, you try to keep your boots and your leather in as best condition as possible, but no matter what you put on this leather, a stone coming here is going to rip it. It really will. So being honest, it doesn't make sense to me why they have rubber scuff all the way on the inside. They have rubber scuff that goes around the edges. Then they left out a section for aesthetics. And then on the heel, they have more scuff. So I'll be honest with you, there's no marks there yet, and I've been wearing them for a year, but I think just subconsciously in my head, I am aware that if I'm going through sharp terrain, I just want to protect this. Like if you have a look at my review of my HANWAGs, they have scuff all the way around. On the other side of it is, there isn't one sign of stone sharp markings or anything like that. Let's check the other one. No, nothing. So far, so good, but it's just me. It's probably preference for a lot of people, but I just want scuff all the way around. But it does the job. For this class of boot with all these features, mountaineering boots are quite heavy, and they always will be because they're packed with the protection that you need for harsh environments. For the class of them, surprisingly light. For the pair of them, they're just under 1.7 kilograms. If you look at a lot of other boots there, they can get heavier, but you're not buying mountaineering boots for lightweight. You're buying mountaineering boots for the features, but they have to be good enough for the long trail. So 1.7 kilograms isn't bad for this class of boot. Okay, let's get back to the soles that I mentioned a while ago. I wasn't convinced at the start because there was such a flat rubber area here that didn't have a lot of grips on them. And I was looking at the back, which I was trying to find the area that grips into the mud when you're going downhill and the area that grips into the mud when you're going uphill. These actually worked a lot better than I thought they were. But for comparison of why I was worried, I wanted to put them up against my HANWAG boots. So let's take a look at how they both performed and the difference between them. So here are the two soles. You have the Lowa on the left and the HANWAG on the right. Okay, so here was my issue. The top of the actual Lowas was pretty flat versus the HANWAGs, which have like a shark fin effect at the top of the boot that digs right into the surface as you're going along. I was worried about how flat and the lack of grip that was in the front of the Lowa. But it was good, but I did notice it. So looking at the back of the boots, so you have the HANWAGs on the left and you have the Lowa on the right hand side. Once again, you can see the difference. The HANWAGs have a shark fin effect at the back that will grip into the mud going downhill, but the Lowas is pretty flat. But the only way to test these was go uphill. So the one thing I wanted to do is actually test the Lowas. So I wanted to pick an uneven surface that was on a slant and to try use the grips and see how good they were. So I dug the boots in, went up. They were slipping in some places going uphill and they were slightly slipping going downhill. I do understand that it's a slanted surface in the forest, that like there are so many different terrains that these boots are going to be on. But I just wanted to get a good idea on how good they were in terms of slippage, because I do understand that the HANWAGs do have a lot more shark fin effects in the front of it. So I wanted to just see how good they actually were. Just testing the two boots on their own probably is no test whatsoever. So I decided to put a HANWAG on as well. So I wanted to use one Lowa and one HANWAG going up the same angle, the same terrain, just to see if there's any bit of a difference. It's a hard test to do because I'm only in a forest environment at an angle. I was getting slight slippage with the actual Lowas more so than the actual HANWAGs, but in terms of the actual level of grip that it had, it was pretty good. It's a slight test. I don't know how accurate it will be, but I just wanted to see the difference between my HANWAGs and the Lowas. I will say the HANWAGs are slightly better, but again, it's more about the rubber than it is about the actual grip or the pattern of the grip, should I say. But yeah, absolutely no complaints. The last part of talking about these boots is not directly these boots specific, but every boot that I wear, every trail shoe, trail runner that I wear, I swapped out the insole with every single one of these boots with these called their Pro 2 Wellbeing insoles. They offer brilliant support and there's some very, very good cushioning there. And they're cheap as chips. They're only about €7. So I would highly recommend you having a look at getting these. These weren't sent to me. I'm not promoting them, but I just know what works. And a few people that have used them after I've told them to use them came back saying that they're starting to wear boots that they could not wear before. So I'll leave the details in the description of where to get them. Again, I haven't been sent these. I bought these myself, but I have them in every single one of my boots, so they're well worth doing. So, and if you do go and get them and you do put them into your boot, please let me know how you get on, because I've had incredible reviews back from people. Again, I'm not promoting them, I'm just promoting what works, and these really work for me. Okay, so there you have it. They're the Lowa Ticam Evo Gtx boots, an incredibly rugged and well-built boot. I'll leave all the details in the description for these. I'll also leave the link to my HANWAG review that I put there. That's a second boot I would highly recommend. So if you went with these or the HANWAGs, you will not be disappointed. So have a quick look at that. Let me know which ones you prefer. But these have not disappointed so far, and I'll be wearing them through this winter as well. Okay, so thanks very much for watching. I have a few other videos coming up, got to do with getting winter ready. So for now, they are the Lowa boots. Love them. Stay tuned, hit the subscribe button, and we'll talk to you in the next one. Bye. Also, be quiet. And with the HANWAG, here you go. What? GTX boots, here you go. You be quiet.